So again, timing means the rhythm of your animation. It refers to the timing of your key drawings and how long it takes for those keys to be played out. You should be able to look at a set of keys and know if it feels right. In other words, if you want a fast movement, then you need fewer frames of animation, and if you want a slow movement, you need more frames. So that's your timing. It's based on the rhythm of the keyframes and the number of the frames. Spacing is where you place your object or your drawing in each of those frames. Now, if you have an object moving from A to B, that means it takes the object 1 second to reach from A to B. And if you've used an ease in or an ease out, that will determine or affect the way it gets from A to B. So here's a good way to ensure that you can plan out your timing and spacing and make sure that it's going to work well before you start drawing all your in-betweens, and then you play them back and it looks terrible and you don't know why. It's the timing chart. So I'm going to go back to this very simple animation of the pendulum. So we're going to make a timing chart for this, or I'm going to at least show you how the timing chart would work. So I'm going to make a new layer, and up here I will draw my chart. The timing chart comes from the olden days of animation when things were hand-drawn and animators used to indicate a key with a circle and an in-between with a line. So if you had 2 keyframes like that and 24 in-betweens or 12 in-betweens, your timing chart would look like that. But what we're going to do is make a timing chart for the pendulum, which has a slow in and a slow out. So I'm going to do, that's my first key represented by this circle here. I'm going to draw a line that just represents the timeline down here. And my last keyframe is a circle like that. So this animation has both a slow out of the first keyframe and a slow into the last keyframe, if you remember. I'm going to turn on onion skinning quickly and let's just see that. So basically on my timing chart, the breakdown drawing would be here to indicate this drawing. And then if you remember, the slow out of the first keyframe was all about working backwards. So we find the halfway point between that breakdown and the first key and draw a line like that. Find the halfway point between that and the first one, draw a line there, and then the halfway point again. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are my 4 in-betweens represented on my timing chart, and that's those 4 frames down here. Okay, and then going forwards, for a slow into a key pose, you work progressively forwards. So that's pretty much the same thing. You find the halfway point, draw a line there for that in-between, find the halfway point for there, draw that line, halfway again, that line. So the timing chart is really just a diagram for you to help you plan out and build your animation. And I work my timing charts in a vertical diagram. You could also draw your timing chart on a horizontal line if that helps you visualize things a bit better. Either way, as long as you can have something to refer to when you are starting to animate, then it's just a really helpful guide, a really helpful tool to use. When your animation starts to get a little bit more complex, it can get confusing if you don't have something, if you don't have a guide like this to help you along.